The average woman in the UK retires with £89,000 less in her pension than the average man. Not slightly less, not a few £1,000s less, £89,000 less. That is a gap large enough to mean the difference between a comfortable retirement and a financially precarious one. And the reasons behind it have almost nothing to do with individual choices or attitudes towards money. They are structural, they are predictable, and in many cases they are fixable, if you know what you're dealing with. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why the gender pension gap exists, how it might be affecting you or someone you care about, and the specific steps that can be taken right now to start closing it. The gender pension gap is the difference in average pension wealth between men and women at retirement. In the UK in 2026, that gap stands at approximately £89,000 in total pension wealth and translates into a significant difference in annual retirement income. To put that in context, a pension pot that is £89,000 smaller at retirement, assuming a 4% annual drawdown rate, produces around £3,560 less income per year. Over a 20-year retirement that compounds into a very significant difference in financial security. The gap exists across all age groups, but widens as people move through their working lives. Among younger workers in their 20s, the gap is relatively small. By the time people reach their 50s and 60s, the gap is at its largest. It is also worth being clear that the gender pension gap is distinct from the gender pay gap, though the two are closely connected. The gender pay gap refers to the difference in average earnings between men and women. The gender pension gap is the result of that pay gap, combined with several other structural factors, compounding over an entire working life. There are four primary reasons the gender pension gap exists in the UK, and understanding each one is important because they each require a different response. Reason 1. The gender pay gap. Women in the UK earn on average around 14% less than men in full-time employment. Because pension contributions are calculated as a percentage of salary, lower earnings mean lower contributions in absolute terms. Over a full career, that difference compounds significantly. Reason 2. Part-time work. Women are significantly more likely than men to work part-time in the UK. Around 38% of women in employment work part-time, compared to around 13% of men. Part-time workers often earn below the auto-enrolment threshold of £10,000 per year, which means they are not automatically enrolled in a workplace pension at all. Many part-time workers have no workplace pension contributions being made on their behalf. Reason 3. Career breaks. Women are far more likely than men to take career breaks, primarily for caring responsibilities, whether that is maternity leave, raising children, or caring for elderly relatives. Every year out of the workforce is a year with no employer pension contributions and no personal contributions either. A 5-year career break in a person's 30s can reduce total pension savings by tens of thousands of pounds when compounded over the remaining working life. Reason 4. The confidence and engagement gap. Research consistently shows that women in the UK are less likely than men to feel confident about investing and pension planning. Only 26% of women hold a stocks and shares ISA, compared to 45% of men. Women are more likely to hold savings in cash, which, as we have covered in previous videos, delivers significantly lower long-term returns than investing. This is not a personal failing. It reflects decades of financial services marketing primarily aimed at men and a financial education system that has failed women disproportionately. Career breaks deserve particular attention because their impact is so often underestimated. Let's put real numbers on it. Imagine two people, both starting work at 22, both earning £30,000 a year, both contributing 8% of qualifying earnings to their pension. Person A continues working full-time with no significant career breaks. Person B takes 5 years out of the workforce between ages 30 and 35, primarily for childcare. Assuming 7% average annual investment growth by age 67, Person A might have a pension pot of approximately £380,000. Person B, with those 5 years out, might have approximately £290,000. That is a gap of roughly £90,000, almost exactly the national average gender pension gap, from just 5 years of career break in a person's 30s. And that calculation does not account for the salary impact. If Person B returns to work part-time, or at a lower salary because of time out of the workforce, the gap widens further still. This is why career breaks are such a significant driver of the gender pension gap. The years out of the workforce are typically in a person's 30s, which is when compound growth has the most time to work. Missing those years of contributions has an outsized impact relative to missing equivalent years at the start or end of a career. Here are the most effective actions available in 2026 for anyone looking to close or reduce their personal gender pension gap. First, check what you currently have. Log into your workplace pension portal and find out your current pension value, what it is invested in, and what the projected value at retirement looks like. You cannot address a gap you have not measured. Second, increase your contributions if you can. Even a 1% increase in your contribution rate makes a meaningful difference over decades. If your employer matches enhanced contributions, prioritize getting the full match before anything else. Third, consider making contributions during career breaks. This is one of the most powerful but underused strategies available. During a career break, you can still make personal contributions into a pension up to £3,600 per year gross, even with no earned income, and receive basic rate tax relief on those contributions. Maintaining even modest contributions during a career break dramatically reduces the long-term impact on your pension. Fourth, open and maximise a stocks and shares ISA. As we covered earlier in this series, moving savings from cash into a globally diversified index fund inside a stocks and shares ISA significantly improves long-term returns. The evidence is clear that the tendency to hold more in cash is costing women disproportionately over the long term. Fifth, make sure your state pension record is complete. You need 35 qualifying years of national insurance contributions for the full state pension. Career breaks can create gaps in your NI record. Check your record at gov.uk using the Check Your State Pension Forecast service. If you have gaps, you may be able to make voluntary NNI contributions to fill them, which can be extremely cost effective. For couples where one partner earns significantly more than the other, or where one partner takes a career break, pension planning becomes a joint financial decision rather than an individual one. A higher earning partner can make pension contributions on behalf of a lower earning or non-earning partner into a personal pension or SIP, up to the £3,600 gross annual limit for non-earners. This is a simple, tax-efficient way to continue building the lower earning partner's pension during a career break. Some couples also choose to equalise pension assets over time, ensuring that both partners approach retirement with broadly comparable pension wealth, rather than one partner being significantly wealthier in pension terms. This can matter enormously if a relationship breaks down, as pension assets built during a marriage are typically considered in divorce proceedings, but are often not divided fairly in practice. The broader point is this: treating pension planning as a shared household responsibility, rather than something each person manages individually, leads to better outcomes for both partners. To bring it all together, the gender pension gap in the UK is real. It is large at an average of £89,000, and it is driven by structural factors including the gender pay gap, part-time working, career breaks, and a confidence gap in investing. None of these are inevitable. Checking your current pension position, increasing contributions where possible, maintaining contributions during career breaks, maximising your ISA, and ensuring your state pension record is complete are all practical steps that make a real difference. This gap does not close itself, but it does close when people understand what they are dealing with and take deliberate action. If this video helped you understand the gender pension gap and what can be done about it, subscribing takes 2 seconds and means you won't miss a video. We post twice a week on making your money work harder in the UK, and next up we are looking at SIPs, self-invested personal pensions, what they are, who they are for, and whether you should open one alongside your workplace pension.